sixth and final race of the day sees the Stock European Championship take centre stage to close out the action at MotorLand Aragón. Riders will face 13 intense laps around the 5-kilometre 17-turn circuit, a technical and demanding layout nestled in the heart of Spain's Aragon province. With the rugged Pyrenees rising to the north and the Ebro River winding through the region, it's a setting as dramatic as the racing it hosts. The circuit, designed by Herman Tilke and opened in 2009, is famed for its mix of high-speed straights, sweeping corners and elevation changes, a layout that tests precision, patience and outright pace. Last time out in Magny Cours, it was Pier Francesco Venturini who emerged as the class's newest race winner, fighting off fierce competition to take his first victory of the season. As the stock class rolls into Aragon, they continue to race in honour of Borja Gomez. Last time out in the Stock European Championship, the riders demonstrated tremendous heart given the tragedy of Gomez's passing the previous Thursday and went racing in his honour in Magny Cours. It was Iker Garcia who started on pole, but he failed to get away well with a lot of wheel spin, allowing an opportunity for other riders to take advantage of. The conditions were difficult and we saw the race red flagged on lap 2. Garcia got away better the second time of asking, with Venturini again getting a great start from P5. It was still tricky out there with Fran Ruiz high-siding and Emmanuel Brinton doing fantastically to stay on his bike further back with an incredible save from the Brit. Varga battled with Venturini going on the inside to move into the podium positions with Foligny leading, but as the pressure mounted, he crashed as well out of P1 with a gap of 1.3 seconds, much to his frustration. We then saw another red flag, and that meant the proceedings came to an end with half points awarded, as less than 50% of race distance had been completed, with Venturini claiming his first stop win, joined on the podium by Varga and Garcia. We are here in MotorLand Aragón for the last race of round 4 of the FIM JuniorGP World Championship. We are set to be treated to the stock class here at MotorLand. I'm Conor Doty, I'm joined by Chris Jordan, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, Chris, on this sunny afternoon.
Pleasure to be alongside you once again as we have a look at the lovely town of Alcañiz, the Marc Marquez monument, of course, here in MotorLand Aragón, and looking forward to what has been a treat at the end of every race day so far in 2025. There's always been plenty of drama in the Stock European Championship, and I'm hoping for a little bit more today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see how things develop here in the last race of our time here in MotorLand Aragón. Just a single race in the stock class as ever, but always delivering excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. Over the last year and a half, or 2 seasons, let's say, of the stock, we've seen some brilliant races, last lap battles, last lap drama. I think it was popping into my head in Jerez. We saw Jacopo Cortaro in the fight for victory and crashing in the final corner. We've seen Tibor Varga finally break through and get that first podium. And then, of course, last time out with Venturini, Pier Francesco Venturini, taking that maiden win amid difficult circumstances both on and off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. The tragic passing of Borja Gomez, I think, is not something that's ever going to be forgotten in this paddock, and obviously we were racing for him in Magny Cours, and I'm sure the riders out there will be racing for him again. Of course, one of our 3 race winners here in the 2025 edition of the Here we have then the review of
we
qualifying.
We definitely put a good lap together today, qualifying, and yeah, it's been about a year since I put it on pole in the Stock 600 class. Yeah, completely grateful to the team. We've got mechanics putting in 100% and more, and it's something we deserve for sure. We've got a race tomorrow, which is way more important than today, but I'm happy to be starting from the front and yeah, see how the race goes. Anything can happen like it always does, but I'm over the moon. The team's put in everything, and I'm yeah, so happy to be here. Thank you, everyone. Of course, any points will do, but yeah, if I'm more up the front, it will be much more helpful. But at the moment, Borja's leading. This qualifying is definitely for Borja and Power themselves. I am dedicated this pole to them, and hopefully I can do more for them in the race.
Touching words then from our pole sitter Archie Bob McDonald for both Borja Gomez and Paul Zina.
Yeah, Archie Bob on pole position, a race winner already in stock European Championship that came in the Algarve last season. A character for sure, as many Australians tend to be, but very much a gritty rider from what I've seen when we've watched him. He's very elbows out, won't give you an inch. He won't expect an inch in return. He's happy to get the elbows out and fight for every position on this in this stock European Championship.
Absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that. When you're racing, it's okay to be aggressive within the limits of the laws. And starting from pole position, well, with a gap of just 11 points to the top of the standings, well, you have to say that he's very much a contender in the future, as is Iker Garcia, who has been absolutely sensational. That opening win in Estoril. Great performance in both Jerez and Magny-Cours as well. So we'll see if we can replicate that form here in Aragon.
Yeah. Archie Bob, has to be said, just touching back on him, he's been, I think, pretty much top of every session this weekend. He's top of qualifying.
He's top in practice, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be very much looking to seal the deal and take victory here and launch himself into title contention. You also have Iker Garcia, a race winner, pole sitter, who's an enormous talent as well. Jacopo Curtaro, he's had a breakthrough campaign as well in 2025. Second in Estoril. Sorry, he wasn't second in Estoril. He was pole in Jerez. P3 in Estoril, but P14 in Jerez. But of course, he was battling for the victory and crashed out at the final Dani Pedrosa corner. Did rejoin, picked up a couple of points for his efforts at the very least. And then a top 8 finish in Magny-Cours. Tibor Varga, Hungarian rider. Again, a rider we've seen just on the edge of podium success in the opening couple of rounds in his rookie season, but he finally broke through then to the podium places in Magny-Cours with an excellent performance. Of course, half points were awarded, but it is a little bit of a monkey off his back to get that, having so many near misses, to finally get it on record.
Yeah, absolutely, and a nice touching message there, that sticker for Borja Gomez on his helmet that he was so keen to show us. But on the grid here we have Alvaro Fuertes, who's going to be starting from P5. 10 points so far in the championship. So we'll see what he's capable of here in his native Spain.
Yeah, last time he was in Spain, he picked up a top 6 finish. So
absolutely, yeah.
Maybe being at home will suit Fuertes. Certainly has so far.
Would it be a strong point?
Top 5. Pardon?
Would it be a strong point?
Being on home soil.
Alvaro Fuertes, strong.
Oh, of course. my apologies. I thought you were putting me on the spot.
No, I was just trying to make another cheap joke.
Very cheap. Now, Ruben Romero, talented rider in his own right, on the outside of the second row, Connor. He's a race winner already. Podium finisher already in stock class, but hasn't quite hit those heights of 2024. Yes, in 2025. Couple decent point scoring finishes in Magny-Cours and in Estoril, along with a DNF in Jerez.
Yeah, you'd have to say that it's just a matter of time until we see him performing at the level we would maybe have expected for him. That was Emmanuel Brinton's fan club there, bearing the number for the 43.
This is the 6th race of the day, it must be said. So we've seen plenty of fans in attendance and fans having a good time, and plenty of fan clubs.
Plenty of fan clubs.
There seems to be a developing trend.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen people using their phones to share messages like that before, especially when it's something as simple as AB43. But here we are. We've seen it twice now, and I don't think that counts as a spoiler.
Do you think that gentleman there on his phone was about to share his Iker Garcia 11 message?
Almost certainly. Or
so,
Joan Santos 81.
Yeah, part of the Macro Benassi squad, GV Yamaha's teammate of Iker Garcia, starting in the middle of the third row.
Well, he does have his fan club there.
Yeah, Joan Santos. It's great to see such numbers out for the Junior GP race here in Aragon. I mean, perfect way to spend a Sunday by all accounts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get people out in numbers. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful, but it's more difficult to find parking, I think, when you're trying to get here. And that has been frustrating.
indeed. Fran Ruiz on the outside of the third row, the Zivi Motor team. Can he spring a surprise here in the Stock European Championship? So, it should be mentioned that our race winner last time, Pier Francesco Venturini, AC Racing Team rider, is starting a little bit further back on the grid in P11, but he did charge through the grid from a deeper position in Magny-Cours to take advantage of the west weather conditions. So not long until we get going here in the Stock European Championship race, Connor, is it?
I don't believe so, and all the riders are clearly quite eager to get going as well and to get this race done and dusted. There we have, as you mentioned there, Pier Francesco Venturini, our winner in Magny-Cours, currently 8th in the championship. It's going to be difficult for him after a tough qualifying session to build on his performance last time out, but it's what he's going to be aiming for.
Yeah, that is a key point. Having had a big performance last time out, I think just a little bit of consistency, something to solidify the progress. Of course, everything can be a flash in the pan result. You can have flukes, you can have good days, bad days. But the aim is to solidify the progress you have been making throughout the season. And of course, in the case of Venturini, he picked up his first point in Jerez, matched that, didn't finish outside the points in Estoril, a win in Magny-Cours amid the wet conditions. So you'd have to say a top 10 finish could be on the cards for him, would be excellent progress.
Absolutely.
Builds his profile.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. He has to keep growing.
So before we get underway in the Stock European Championship, this is our starting grid. McDonald on pole ahead of Iker Garcia and Jacopo Cortaro. Then it's Tibor Varga, Ro Fuertes and Ruben Romero, Follini, Santos and Ruiz complete the third row. Then Keskes, Venturini and Blay Trias. Keep an eye on Trias, 5th in the championship, could charge from the 4th row. David Sanchez, Garcia and Javier Del Olmo make up row 5. Emmanuel Brinton, Capote and Diaz on row 6. Jimenez, Van Rosmal and Bevilacqua on row 7. Darliano, Filipenko, Aparici make up row 8. While at the back of the grid, number 44, Adrian Rodriguez with Domenico Passanisi. Adrian Rodriguez was handed a penalty for the back of the grid. Race winner, of course, in the stock class already in 2024. A rider perhaps we haven't seen the best of. Picked up his first points in Magny-Cours, but hadn't had too many opportunities before that.
Yeah. It's very difficult to call this here as we get this warm-up lap underway. It's going to be a fantastic race here in Aragon. As we can see, it is very warm indeed. 29 degrees in the air, 51 degrees centigrade is the temperature of the track. So it's just something else these riders need to bear in mind. They need to be focusing on their tyre management and making sure that they get the most out of their tyres. You just see that the Archie Bob McDonald going through the long lap penalty loop as we come down the corkscrew at turn 10.
Yeah, key part of the track, isn't it? The second half, of course, plenty of overtaking opportunities into turn 1, turn 5, turn 7 immediately spring to mind. But then this just in front of the iconic Aragon wall, the left-hander at turn 12, 14, 15, of course, offer opportunities, as does the big, long back straight between 15 and 16, which leads into the long double left-hander that sees out a lap of MotorLand Aragón. So lots of passing opportunities, but quite often most races and most positions can be decided in sectors 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And we do have the championship standings on our screen. Borja Gomez still leading, no longer with us. He rests in peace. Garcia is a point behind. Oh, Paul Sitter McDonald in 3rd there. But yeah, as you were saying, to sectors 3 and 4 could prove absolutely vital. And that penultimate corner, turn 16, riders take their position on the grid. The red flag at the front, indicating that they need to stop as we get ready to go for this Stock European Championship race. Archibald McDonald on pole in a striking blue and pink helmet.
Contrasts beautifully with his luminous yellow shoulder pads.
A rainbow of colour. As these riders prepare to get underway here in Aragon. The red light is on, and we are racing in stock here at MotorLand Aragón. Archibald McDonald gets away very well, but it looks like Hakama Kratara does as well. He's moved up into second, but what a start there from McDonald, who's just already got a couple of bike lengths between him and his closest chaser. So absolutely fantastic start there from our pole sitter.
Yeah, super stuff from the Australian. Tibor Varga had an eventful start. He's in 4th position. Looks like he might have just made a move for 3rd there, but he wheelied off the line as well. So Varga has done well to recover there in the IUM Motorsports pink livery, running in 4th position, just behind Alvaro Fuertes.
Yeah, both those riders, but in particular Varga has been very impressive, as you mentioned earlier in the introduction. So it'll be very interesting to see exactly what he's capable of as we come down this corkscrew at turn 9 and move into that absolutely critical sector 3.
Yeah, everyone away safely on the first lap as well as McDonald over Kratara.
There is a yellow flag at turn 5 there.
The commentator's curse. Iker Garcia, the number 11 though, has had a bit of a stonking start. From P2 to P6, he's there behind Tibor Varga. You can see the number 11 at the back of this group down in 6th position. He started 2nd, just did not get a good start from the line though. He's beginning to work his way through the pack. Tibor Varga has just dropped behind Garcia.
Yeah, we have confirmation there of that crash from Fran Luis, but as you say, he'll be so frustrated to have got away quite poorly there. Confirmation that the rider is okay as well on our timing screen. That's of course the most important thing. As we go into turn 16, Kratara thinking about a move there, but just not quite close enough. Oh, and there's a big crash for Archibald McDonald there, who is leading.
Yeah, the
He's
race
getting
leader.
up very quickly though. He's just frustrated with himself.
Well, that is hugely disappointing for McDonald, you have to say, and you can see he's just so frustrated, taking it out on the bike.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Leading the race was the Australian down at turn 17, just as they were about to come out the final corner and over the line. Here we will get a better look at it. He's leading there under a little bit of pressure from Jacopo Quartaro, but not too much, you would have to say. And then it's just the rear loses grip, doesn't it?
It almost looks like there was a bit of contact as well right at the end for Quartaro, who did well just to keep out of the way of that. But yeah, important that he's okay after what was a fairly big crash.
Yeah, not hiding his feelings towards his bike, is he? But all that means Alvaro Fuertes has now taken the lead. Quartaro momentarily in P1, but Fuertes has struck, as has Tibor Varga on Ruben Romero. But Ruben Romero's about to fight back here, I think, Connor. And they're going elbow to elbow, and it's exactly what we came to see here in the Stock European Championship.
Yeah, really fierce competition. We've seen that time and time again. There is Quartaro making his move on Alvaro Fuertes, who's going to look and try and pull it back, and does respond absolutely immediately. Still Quartaro who leads though.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Quartaro, of course, still waiting for that first win. Picked up a podium back in Estoril, missed out on the one in Jerez before Magny-Cours didn't prove his day. The number 16 of Alvaro Fuertes as well, looking for his first podium. Fuertes, the top 6 finish, the best he has had to offer in 2025. So both these riders chasing a career best result, as are the two riders behind them, Ruben Romero and Tibor Varga, both podium finishers in races gone by, but neither a race winner. The only race winner in this top 5 is Iker Garcia, because I was going to say top 6, but Pier Francesco Venturini has worked his way up into the top 6. Brilliant stuff from Venturini, and he was our race winner in Magny-Cours. So we said a top 10 finish for Venturini would be a sign of good progress, Well, I think he wants a little bit more, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done fantastically to move up from P11, so wonderful. And then Iker Garcia, and then Trias with the best race lap at 155.962. So he's going to be looking to try and keep us up as well. But this leading group has very little to separate it for the time being. Obviously, we can see a couple of bike lengths maybe between the riders, but it's not that much at all when it comes down to it. And it's still Quartararo who's leading ahead of Fuertes.
Yeah, superb stuff. As we kind of have a little look around the position progressions, and we mentioned Adrian Rodriguez started at the back of the grid. He has now worked his way into P15, the final point scoring position. So Rodriguez is on the march, has collected 11 places, I think, by my count. Probably wrong. My counting is very rarely right, but I think it's 11. Oh, it's a big crash. It's a big crash. And it's the number 81, Juan Santos, who crashes out of 7th position. And the bike has been left on circuit, so you would imagine the red flag here is going to wave very shortly. But Juan Santos, thankfully, he looks hurt, but walking away from the incident.
Again, you'll have to hope that it's just his pride that's more wounded than anything else. We can take another look at it there. It's, a bit of a high side there.
Yeah, we've seen a number of high sides without giving anything away in the previous races. We've seen a number of high sides throughout the day. So conditions it's very grippy, but clearly part of the track where the rear wheel is just losing that grip and just snatching it again, sending riders flying through the air of their machines.
It does look like it's the yellow flag that has come out for the time being.
A double yellow. Okay, so the double yellow is waving at the moment, which makes sense, as double yellow means there is an obstruction on the track. So hopefully they can get that cleared up rather quickly. But the fastest lap of the race, a 155.198, just come in from your race leader, Jacopo Quartararo. He's about 3/10 quicker than Alvaro Fuertes. And those two riders are into the 155s, as is Tibor Varga. So a good pace being set out front, but Quartararo comfortably quickest.
Yeah, he's got just around 0.2 of a second there in the last lap faster. So Quartararo doing incredibly well, and this is bad news for everyone else, because Quartararo isn't going to be involved necessarily in any of these battles behind him. He can just focus on opening that throttle and getting as far away from those fighting behind him as possible.
Absolutely, Quartararo has opened up a 1 second advantage almost to Alvaro Fuertes. So Quartararo is chasing that first ever win. He has been in this position before. Back in Jerez, he was leading and battling for the lead before it slipped away from him and he had to settle for a P14 finish after crashing. Will this be a different story in Aragon? Well, it's looking good so far. Just 9.5 laps to go. The 73 of SF Racing comfortably leading, but will we see a reduction in that gap? It was 1 second, just under 1 second last time around. Let's check how it is once he crosses the line and Fuertes and Varga are in pursuit. But on the eye test, Connor, it looks like he's actually opened up that advantage.
Yeah, it does look like he's incredibly fast, especially around sectors 1 and 2. He was in fact the fastest on track right now in both of those sectors. But in sectors 3 and 4, where there is always an opportunity for an overtake, he does appear to be a bit slower.
A little bit further back, we're watching Tibor Varga and Ruben Romero battle for P3. Behind them, Iker Garcia, who started on the front row but had a bit of a stonking start. He's back in P5. Venturini in 6th. Benze Kashkas in 7th, with Joan Diaz, Blait Trias and David Sanchez making up the rest of the top 10 as things stand.
Yeah, Quartararo actually does seem to be pulling away a bit. He was around 0.6 of a second faster on that last lap than Alvaro Fuertes, who did appear to be the only rider that would be capable of matching his pace and keeping up with him for the time being.
Ruben Romero has gotten past Tibor Varga. Romero is back into the podium places, battling his way past the Hungarian rider. Let's see, does Varga have an answer for him, or will he have to be a little bit more focused on what's coming behind? Because Iker Garcia is starting to show some good pace here, with Pier Francesco Venturini hot on his heels.
Yeah, Iker Garcia is not a rider that you can ever rule out at all on that GV Macro Bonsai Racing machine. He is quite excellent, and he's got a race win under his belt as well, so one to watch.
Certainly is. So, an intriguing race here, I would have to say. We're looking at the battle for third, fourth. As you can see, Jacopo Quartararo has really opened up. He's beginning to stretch the legs here. 1.6 second advantage, and it only looks like it's growing. Alvaro Fuertes, strong by name, but is he strong by nature? Let's see if he has anything in response. Or will he have to be careful of the pace of Romero and Varga behind him? But as things stand, he's got a little bit of an advantage over them, but they are gaining on him, the number 16.
Yeah, and this group that we've got here between 2 and 6, well, anything can happen between them. They are really close, and it did look like that Kekskes, who's currently racing really by himself, he's capable of catching up with this group. Well, I think he might well be able to do so. There he is, just coming into the back of our screens there.
Indeed, Ruben Romero has gotten ahead of Alvaro Fuertes. He just doesn't have the pace to go with them. So now is Tibor Varga seeing the opportunity. Are his eyes lighting up at the potential of taking the number 16 for P3? Well, actually, it looks like the number 16 has a little bit in response for the number 71 of Ruben Romero. So Fuertes momentarily took second back off Romero, but not for long, as Romero responds almost instantaneously.
Yeah, this battle between this pack of 5 is really quite enthralling. It's interesting to see what happens. There goes Tibor Varga coming now on the inside, but on the cutback, he's going to be able to keep it. Yeah, it looks like it just about is. And then there's someone else that's down as well.
Like Trias maybe, who has gone very wide.
Could well be. Well, we'll see confirmation of that soon enough.
No, it's Ben Sikic.
He was doing so well as well to get back into contention. That'll be deeply unfortunate for him.
Look at that though. No stopping Jacopo Quartararo. 2.5 seconds advantage. Brilliant stuff.
It's growing and growing as well.
SF Racing 1-2. Ruben Romero flying as well. Tibor Varga has gotten the better of Alvaro Fuertes. So our top 3 is now Quartararo, Romero, Varga. Fuertes has dropped to 4th position, and he's got the likes of Venturini and Garcia waiting behind. This is the battle for 7th, currently led by Joan Diaz, but David Sanchez just having a little look around the number 96, but it is Joan Diaz who is holding on to 7th position for the time being.
For the time being, it did look that Sanchez was going to make his move there, and you feel like it is coming, and there it is. There he goes through and into P7. An excellent bit of riding there.
Yeah, 9 points on offer now for the winner of this battle. You would have to imagine, Connor, that they're probably just a little bit too far off the pace of the top 6. 5 seconds is going to be it's going to be too much to reel in. So that is the best those riders could hope for, unless of course there are maybe a couple of mistakes up above, which drops a rider into their clutches and offers up a couple of positions.
Yeah.
Never say never in the stock class, isn't that right?
Absolutely not, and any points can prove valuable come the end of the season. Of course, stock doesn't have as many races as some of the other classes that form part of the FIM Junior GP World Championship, so every point counts even more.
Yeah, every point is crucial, particularly with the previous round not completing full race distance. Half points on offer just means there's less points there to be won. The gaps are a little bit tighter, so you're going to have to fight tooth and nail.
And this is fighting tooth and nail. Look at that from Tibor Varga. Looked like he was going to be able to make it stick. Just almost a wonderful little move there. Didn't quite come off. Ruben Romero just a bit later on the brakes.
Yeah, but Varga's coming back at him at turn 1. Is he going to have the inside line?
Oh,
he most certainly is indeed. Brilliant stuff from Varga, but can he make it stick this time? Romero is a tricky customer to make a move stick past, and he's proven just why he has that reputation. The number 71, 2 attempts made for P2, but the number 71 responds twice to keep hold of his position.
Yeah, this is a fantastic battle between these two. Really excellent races, and we're seeing and being given a real treat of a battle between these two. They're going to have to make their move at the exact right time. Where that's going to be, well, there are several spots, especially as we come down the corkscrew now. And then we'll go into Sector 3, where we've got a few spots.
Yeah, the corkscrew.
Well, the corkscrew looks like a spot in and of itself for the battle between these two.
Hanging it on the outside, that's brilliant to watch, isn't it? The guys' eyes glued to the screen inside the box of the SF Racing team,
Yeah.
because their rider is in a heck of a battle with Tibor Varga, and that is Venturini's
Just got a bit wide, yeah.
pushed out a little bit wide there as he looked to make a move on Varga for P3. So this podium battle far from done, Connor.
No, not at all. And Iker Garcia, always a threat there. He's ever present at the back of this group. He's one as well that I would think might be trying to conserve his tyres until the right moment, because there's a real battle going on ahead of him. He's not too far behind. He can definitely catch up, and he can definitely find himself on the podium come the end of this race.
Very much so. So a reminder, this isn't a battle for the lead, it's the battle for second place, led by Ruben Romero. Jacopo Cretero, the SF Racing rider, is number 1 and got a 4.2 second advantage out front. Ruben Romero, his teammate, holds on to second position, but for how long? Because they're huffing and they are puffing. 3 wolves are at the door, but are they about to finally blow the house down? Tibor Varga does take P2 off of Ruben Romero, but for how long? Can the little piggies build the house back up, Connor?
It was a fantastic overtake there. Little Piggy, he's in pink as well, so very apt, very apt. Well, this battle is...
He's the wolf in this analogy, surely.
Well, for the time being. I think they're changing skins here.
Yeah, absolutely. Huffing and puffing has got the job done for Tibor Varga. He's looking to follow up his podium in Magny-Cours with a dry race podium here, which would be perhaps a truer mark of his progress in the Stock European Championship. We've seen Tibor Varga, of course, competing at the front end of the Northern Talent Cup on the smaller bikes, but this Stock 600s are a much bigger machine. So quite impressive. Yeah, quite impressive for Varga to adapt as quickly as he has, with a top 4 on debut. Oh, maybe not debut, but on the season opener. Jerez top 10, podium Magny-Cours, and he's looking good for another podium here. So Varga is stringing together a very tidy run of form with 4 rounds, including this race, to go. After this, of course, we go to Misano, Catalunya, and Valencia circuits. And an incredibly tight title fight with 3 races left after this. It's impossible to predict.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it comes out on top. And on top in this race, quite remarkably, is Jacopo Cretero. That gap with these riders behind is just growing and growing. It's currently at 4.6 seconds. And it's just going to grow bigger and bigger as these chasing 5 battle between themselves as they try and seal a place on the podium, and a place on the podium as high as possible. As you said, Varga doing incredibly well to hold off Ruben Romero for the time being. And talking about Magny-Cours as well, and how different the conditions were, well, it's great to have that ability in your locker as well. But there we go on the inside. Is that the move for Romero?
Indeed, it's Romero has gone through, as has Fuertes. Tibor Varga dropping down to 4th, but for how long? It looks like he's going to fight it back on the inside. It's really elbows out racing here, isn't it? In the Stock European Championship, they do not give one another an inch.
No, they do not, and we've seen that from start to finish here as we come down the reverse corkscrew. And any of these riders would be in an excellent position to claim a place on that podium. And Cretero's lead, just to keep you updated there, as you can see on the screen, is 5.7 seconds now. This
Huge.
Chasing pack, yeah.
Huge lead. Oh, Fuertes has gone wide there.
And that can prove costly.
Coughed up the podium position for Tibor Varga. Varga doesn't need to be asked again. Snaps up the opportunity, and there we see the live championship. It's Iker Garcia, Cretero, and Tibor Varga 1, 2, and 4, and Borja Gomez in 3rd. As we continue to race in Gomez's honor, but on the track, Cretero is romping home to victory. that could see him second in the championship. Iker Garcia, if he sees the checkered flag, it will be inside the top 6. That's pretty much certain, unless anything disastrous happens for the number 11. He's got a comfortable 5-second advantage to the next rider, which is David Sanchez. Now, here we go. We see a few different options and lines being taken here, but no changes in the pecking order just yet. Fuertes just outside the podium trio. And then, of course, Venturini. We haven't mentioned him too much. The Magny-Cours Victor hasn't really played a huge role in the podium fight as of yet, but he could just be there waiting and lurking.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, just using that experience that he's built. And, as you say, biding his time and waiting for the right moment to make a move, because it's chopping and it's changing in this chasing group, but anything can happen.
Anything can and usually does happen in the stock European Championship. Ruben Romero, though, is leading this race for second, and with 2.5 laps remaining, is looking calm, composed, and pretty good value for money. But it could all change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, absolutely. But as it stands, an SF Racing 1-2, which would be absolutely incredible for that team. Of course, the difference between first and second is absolutely astonishing here. But all that matters really at the end of the day is where you finish on the podium. It doesn't matter if there's 5, 10 or 15 seconds. It's still a matter of points come the end of the day, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, important points on offer in this top 6. Not just the podiums, because you look at the likes of Iker Garcia, who is riding in 6th place. Should he finish there, he will become the championship leader. Jacopo Quartaro into 2nd position. There's nothing these riders can really do to challenge Quartaro now. 5.7 second advantage as Tibor Varga fires it up the inside of Ruben Romero, and Ruben Romero returns the favour.
Yeah, these two just going absolutely at it whenever they can. Absolutely sensational stuff from these two riders. They across the start-finish line there. And you have to ask, who's going to be leading as we go into turn 1?
Yeah, Fuertes is sniffing an opportunity here too, isn't he?
Absolutely, Fuertes very much part of this. Now just behind Tibor Varga. But it's still Ruben Romero who's in P2 and leading this chasing pack, although using the word chasing when the distance is going on 6 seconds is a bit superlative, I think.
Yeah, Quartaro in a world of his own, but this battle is very commendable from all riders that they've kept this close to one another up until the final lap and a half. It is Romero and Varga who look to have the advantage, but Alvaro Fuertes did run inside the podium places for a while, sitting in 4th. Doesn't look like he thinks his opportunity is over. Venturini and Garcia yet to fire a shot off in this podium battle, but we still have time. Have they bided their time to perfection? Let's wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely anything can happen. Just going to see where this figure for Quartaro's gap finishes, 6.1 seconds. And he's obviously, as you say, riding in a world of his own for the time being, but it's also very difficult to be riding by yourself, having to maintain that focus entirely on what you're doing. Whereas these other riders are going to be battling it out, and it's just a bit wide there.
And that's,
I think.
Yeah. Game over for Fuertes, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not sure we can say game over just yet, but it does look like these two, Ruben Romero and Tibor Varga, are pulling away from those behind. But yeah, Fuertes will be tremendously frustrated to have got that line wrong there.
Yeah, for his podium chances, I think that's game over for Fuertes. He's just not going to make up the ground in time. He's now, what, nearly a second behind the guys ahead of him. So I suppose not.
There's plenty of opportunities here as we go into this last lap with Quartaro leading and dominating in this stock European Championship race. And there we have that Venturini who's gone very wide, and Garcia, right? Wide. So this is getting narrower and narrower on this last lap. Who can take the 2 spots on the podium, second and third, as Quartaro leads with such indomitable force? Well, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what happens here. It's currently Romero who would take that second step on the podium. Varga's going to try and have something to say about it, though.
Absolutely. A couple key overtaking spots coming up. So Cortado has just gone through the reverse corkscrew. Here come the other riders. This has been a popular overtaking spot so far today, but nothing going just yet for Cortado or mainly Varga, who will be looking to reel him in. But of course, there's turn 12, 14, 15 before the double left-hander. Is there going to be an opportunity here for Varga?
You have to say that there might well be. It's not as close as maybe you would have liked. This leading group seems to have separated just on this last lap, last and penultimate lap. Is he going to be close enough here? No. Well, we've seen riders make several mistakes here as well, though. So now we are on the the back straight as we get things going. It's Cortado who's going into the penultimate corner. He's riding all alone. This could be that ever so coveted win for Cortado in 2025. It looks absolutely assured. Is he going to be able to add to the podium that he's already achieved this year? He is, and in indomitable style. You can see what it means there, and to him and his team. And it is Cortado, who seals 25 vital championship points.
Absolutely amazing ride from Cortado. Dominated the field. Once he got ahead, there was no stopping him. And what a day for the SF Racing team. That's a 1-2 with Ruben Romero holding off the challenge of Tibor Varga. Varga, though, back-to-back podiums, Connor. Pretty impressive from the Hungarian. And it looks like we have some of our front runners for the 2025 championship really coming to the fore here.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic ride from Tibor Varga, who did so well to stay in that battle there and really take it to Ruben Romero. So they'll be absolutely thrilled at the IUM Motorsports box. And there is Jacobo Cortado, our race winner. And we can see here riders picking up flags for Pau Alsina. And as we've seen already, tremendous respect for the rider who left us last weekend in a tragic accident. The rider's just looking to pay homage to him in this final event of the day here in MotorLand Aragón. And it is Jacobo Cortado who is our race winner. Quite sensationally there. We can see the two who battled so strongly throughout this race here, Ruben Romero and Tibor Varga. There you see it, just this is for you, I think is the message that he's trying to convey. Another excellent installment of the Stock European Championship. Ruben Romero there as he goes down the corkscrew, not after a quick wheelie. Now with Tibor Varga up to 4th in the standings, 45 points. An absolutely incredible performance from him, and really going toe-to-toe with all of the riders around him in that leading, well, not leading, considering Jacobo Cortado was very much ahead by about 6 seconds, but the chasing group of about 5 riders, all of whom have experience under their belts, and he did enough to ensure that he got his place on the podium. So we're very happy with that P3. There we can see our race winner, Jacobo Cortado, getting the job done for SF Racing. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that. First win of the year, and very much a contender now for our Stock European Championship title. You can just see Joan Diaz there behind him on his MDR competition machine, as well as Javier Aparici, both also with flags for Pau Alsina. Well, it was a tremendous race, but it was a race dominated in spectacular fashion by Jacopo Cretaro. You see him there, revving the motor. You can see what it means to him, see what it means to his team as well. Two SF Racing machines next to each other, a double podium for them, and those screams are screams of delight. Pure elation in Parc Fermé. It's congratulated by absolutely everyone. Here's Jacopo Cretaro. An absolutely wonderful ride. He had to do it all by himself in the end. No one was capable of matching his pace. His best lap at 155.198. It's 0.4 of a second faster than anyone else. And he was faster through sectors 1, sectors 2, and sector 3. And there we have Tibor Varga and his team. Again, an inspired ride from the Hungarian as he just hugs it out there. Really shining in his second season in the Stock European Championship. And Ruben Romero as well. He finished P2 and looks very happy to have done so. A wonderful result for him. Really getting his season underway in earnest, I think we can say. Because he had struggled at the beginning of the campaign, and now he's got his first podium of the year, and something for him to really build on in what is left after the summer break in the Stock European Championship. Well, we'll be going to Misano for our next race, our 5th race. Misano could well work out for Jacopo Cretaro as well on home soil. He can do it away from home. Can he get it done there? You just see the crash from Archie Bob McDonald there, who had been leading our pole sitter. Cretaro taking full advantage of that incident to seal his first win of the year. And we'll be hearing from him very shortly as he reflects on what was an absolutely amazing ride here at MotorLand Aragón. You can just see there, Chris Jordan is down with him in Parc Fermé.
Jacopo, a very special day for SF Racing and a very special day for you. A 1-2 for the team and your first ever win in the Stock European Championship. Once you got out in front, there was no stopping you. Talk to us about your day and how you're feeling.
The race was really nice but really hard, because when you are alone it's always more difficult to make the pace, but we work all the weekend on the race pace, so for sure I want to dedicate and want to thanks to all the team, all the staff, and for sure dedicate to all the family, to Pau Alsina, and see you in Misano.
A lovely tribute as well. And for your fans in Italy, if you could tell them in Italian, please.
La gara è stata bella ma lunga, perché quando sei da solo è sempre un po' più difficile prendere il tuo passo, il ritmo gara, però abbiamo lavorato tutto il weekend con il team nel ritmo gara e appunto è uscita una bella gara. Volevo dedicarla a tutto il team, a tutto lo staff, a tutte le persone che sono intorno a me e che comunque danno un supporto, e volevo dedicarla anche alla famiglia di Paolo Alsina e tutto il team Estrella Galizia.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Here are the highlights from the Stock European Championship at MotorLand Aragón. Pole sitter Archie Bob McDonald got away incredibly well, with Jacopo Cretaro just behind. But then, disaster struck. We saw Archibald McDonald go down early on, much to his chagrin. Real frustration there. The battle behind never seemed like losing its intensity, but it was Cretaro who managed to pull away, getting the best of the riders around him. We come down the corkscrew here. Another crash there for Joan Santos. The battle for P2 and P3 never ceased to deliver drama. The likes of Tibor Varga and Romero really giving absolutely everything. Very intense affair with overtakes coming thick and fast, especially between Romero and the Hungarian Varga. See Varga getting ahead there at turn 1, but Romero would just bide his time and make the move at the right time. Varga made it a bit more difficult for himself there. And of course, Iker Garcia dropping down and really failing to challenge at the end as Romero made it through into P2, but it was Jacopo Cretaro who sealed a first win of 2025 in the Stock European Championship. Here we have then our podium celebrations. Tibor Varga, who takes P3.
La segunda posición desde arriba, Roja desde Valencia. Aplausos para el número 71. Ahí está
Ruben Romero with P2.
Y el vencedor desde la Italia, número 73, Jacopo Cretaro.
And Jacopo Cretaro, who takes the top spot here, bearing the flag for Palestina as we prepare for the Italian national anthem. Jorge Paredes presenting the podium trophies, the MotorLand general manager. Varga receives his trophy for P3.
Congratulations. Vámonos ahora con el señor Jean-Marc Denis, como vicepresidente de la FIM Europa, encargado de entregar el premio.
Jean-Marc Denis, the vice president of FIM Europe, presenting the trophy for P2. And a lovely little bow there from Romero. And here we go then with the trophy for P1, and on the top step of the podium, Jacopo Cretaro. We will now hear the national anthem of Italy. There it is then, the national anthem of Italy, as Jacopo Cretaro, our runaway winner in the Stock European Championship, revels in his victory and does so with the flag for Palestina. Stock delivered once again an absolutely fantastic race. Thrilling, of course, not just for our winner there. Ran away with it in the end, a gap of, I think, around 6 seconds. Here we then have the results.
So as Connor rightly mentioned, a gap of around 6 seconds, 5.5 seconds. He eased off a little bit towards the end, Jacopo Cortaro. Ruben Romero in second, Tibor Varga third, Fuertes leads Venturini over the line in fourth, fifth. Garcia holds on to sixth after a late error. Then it's David Sanchez, Filippo Follini and Bente Keshkas inside the top 10. Blai Trias is P10, just ahead of Joan Diaz. Then it's Emmanuel Brinton, Alberto Garcia, Declan Van Rosmalen and David Jimenez complete the point scorers. Adrian Rodriguez, who started at the back of the grid, just misses out on the point places, as does Pilipenko, Darliano, Aparici, the rest of her finishers, while Bevuelacqua, Fran Ruiz, Joan Santos, Gonzalo Capote, Archie Bob McDonald, the pole sitter, and Javier Del Olmo, all crashing out. So what that all means for the championship, as we see Domenico Pastanisi, also one of the riders to not see the checkered flag, but that all means for the championship that Iker Garcia is your leader. Jacopo Cortado jumps up 4 places, just 7 points behind Garcia after victory. Borja Gomez, we continue to race in his honour. He's in third. Tibor Varga then over Archie Bob McDonald in fourth and fifth. Trias Romero up 12 into 7th, just behind Blai Trias. Joan Diaz is in P10. Follini, Brinton, Keshkas, Rodoya, Sanchez all inside the top 15, with David Jimenez, Lorenzo Dalla Porta falling down the pecking order. So the rest of the point scorers from 2025: Alberto Garcia, Joan Santos, Adrian Rodriguez, Marco Gaggi, Gonzalo Capote, Declan Van Rosmalen, Fran Ruiz, Marcos Ludenia all have scored points in 2025.
Another absolutely incredible installment of the Stock European Championship comes to a close. This time around, it was Jacopo Cortaro who wins, and we'll see you again for round 5 in Misano.